The growth overall of non-state media outlets, meaning radio channels, TV stations, and also print media not controlled or owned by the state, has been dramatic. And the impact on culture, on perceptions in Afghanistan has been profound.
Because that means that people are seeing a different take on the world than they would have done otherwise. So they've heard things through the BBC radio programs. They tend to share radios. For those who have access to electricity, they've been able to see television programs, and again, they share television programs. And that has meant that the vision of women being able to speak with authority has become more normalized.
The new media in Afghanistan is helping shape the debate, the Afghan debate, over the future of the country, over things such as democracy, things like women's rights, issues such as education, healthcare, and the form of the political system in Afghanistan, and also possible ways to find a lasting resolution to the conflict in Afghanistan. It even performs the function of a political opposition in Afghanistan, of a watchdog. But its success, its continued growth and success, is quite tentative and dependent on how everything else in Afghanistan shapes up.
Will civil society engage in the political process? Well, they have been. They are doing so. They could perhaps be more effectively supported to do so. But they've stood for parliament. They've been part of the monitoring process in elections. They've used the media extremely effectively to question candidates, and they've lobbied MPs and government officials.
Improving democracy. In the provinces, there is no democracy, no elected officials. That's what we need to work on. We also have to encourage the democratic opposition. They worked very well during the presidential elections. We need to foster that. And we need to look at the role of women and ensure that that stays very vibrant.
It's the women who will bring the nation back together, and this is not only my belief, but the belief of Afghan women.
So women is very important, not only for the stability of Afghanistan, but also to end game the extremist philosophy. So the more you think of women, the better it is for success against extremists.
It's not one of my work, it's primarily my work. I went to Afghanistan because I'm a woman and I went there to work for women. The business that I run is Kandahar Treasure, and we are selling hand-embroidered fine products made 100% by hand by the women, and we market it both locally, meaning in Kandahar, as well as internationally.
There is a great civil society to be addressed that did not ask us for money to operate. They work themselves, they show great spirit, and I would appeal that we take this under consideration and establish a mechanism to support such very grassroots initiatives.
So by supporting or investing, again, not monetary-wise, I don't need money. I need markets. If I'm creating a product that is creating jobs for 350 women, and by creating a bigger market, I can include 200 or 300 more women. I don't need aid to necessarily come to me in hand, but do in kind by promoting my product in Europe, in America, in other parts of the world, so I can increase the production. If in a place like Kandahar, a small project can be transferred into a viable business, I think that's success. So I'm happy to share that, and the reason I'm still in Kandahar and in Afghanistan is because I see the success on that level.
On the job creation, despite of the challenges that the government of Afghanistan is facing, there are progress in different sectors that we cannot ignore about what has been achieved so far.
We even have found in areas where we were focused on working in Nangarhar, on the sort of outskirts of Jalalabad, that where rural roads have been provided, actually getting onions to market and being able to expand small rural enterprises like that has actually been incredibly profitable. Even cases where onions have almost became as profitable as opium in parts of Nangarhar, which would have been a nice headline, I think, onions rather than opium. So in a sense, you know, there is these nice little examples of where the rural roads and interventions like that can have an effect.
To bring more job opportunities for the people of Afghanistan, modernization of the agriculture system in the country would be the strong support to the sector. If we can manage the water, I believe we can bring job opportunities, we can bring energy and the other things that I already mentioned. And also construction of roads which could link again Afghanistan, Central Asia to the south of South Asia. Afghans are traditionally and religiously are traders. This will help the farmers to find access to the local and international markets.